I had to stop shuffling finally because y'all are just spitting so many cards out. Just want to say really quickly that thus far, the Empress energy has been really popular this month. So I do feel that being that it's Scorpio season, there is a lot to unpack surrounding power, right? Especially dark feminine power. So first you have the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles with the Lovers. So I feel there's a choice you need to make surrounding whether you're going to stand your ground and defend your beliefs and live a life accordance to your own compass, your own truth, your own desires, or wait for things to be handed to you or wait for people to recognize that truth in yourself. Because the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles are very different. Seven of Pentacles, it says, I've planted a lot of seeds, right? Based on my intent, based on my truth. But I'm just going to sit here and watch them and watch them and watch them and just hope that they, hope and pray that they grow, right? And with the Seven of Wands, it's everyone wants a piece of you and everyone wants to question you and everyone wants to present things to you. While in the meantime, you have a lot on your plate. So combining them, I feel it's important for you to not feel like you need to defend why things are blooming or aren't blooming. And there's nothing to be defensive about. And you don't need to explain your process to anybody. I feel like that's really important. And you may also notice that there's some seeds that aren't planting, and it's because they're not in divine alignment with the ascension and the spiritual path that you are growing towards. With the Empress and the Nine of Swords here, again, there may be things that aren't manifesting and that aren't happening for you, Pisces. And it can be this idea that, like, am I really powerful? Am I really able to create my own reality? Can I really bring to life the things that really mean a lot to me, the things that align with my values? Because I've been making choices and trying to do things my own way and things aren't happening. So I feel like in some capacity, you're undermining your own power and getting concerned about your own power. And you have to make sure with the Seven of Pentacles, you're not digging up or sowing seeds of fear, in between your bounty. With the Page of Wands and the Strength, I feel like you may be getting news based on one of these seeds that you've planted about staying strong. Or you may actually have to, you literally may get news around having to, show your will or show your resiliency. Like someone may be sending you a message or giving you a job offer or something where you're having to, kind of flex your skills, flex your muscles, your mental muscle, or show that you're willing to stand the test of time. There's maybe literally an agility test, like that can literally be it for some of you, or show how disciplined you are, or show how mentally, spiritually, and emotionally strong you are, like show that you're willing to be patient and not let fear get the best of you, okay? But then we have the Five of Swords with the Queen of Pentacles. So for some of you, I feel like your money is just not panning out the way that you wanted it to, and you're having to kind of wait for this offer to get off the ground, or for this opportunity or job to mature into something that is lucrative, or mature into something that where you can get a raise, or you can benefit more off of it. If this is a passion project, or if this is a self-employment type of venture, it may take another 5 weeks or another 5 months before you see profit from it, because some people may be questioning your ability to be an earner, okay, with the Queen of Pentacles here. But I feel like these are just very tied together. There may be women in your life, or there may be you who are making you anxious or worried about whether or not, again, you can get your finances in order. I just don't think now's a really good time for you to talk finances with anybody either, unless the person you're talking to, you really, really trust them, and you really, really admire their advice and the way that they manage their finances, I wouldn't have the conversation with them. Because there's a lot of people that have money and manage it very poorly. So to be rich or to be wealthy or to be financially secure is subjective to an extent, because some people really have no idea how to manage their money. And everyone's expenses are different. So if you're like reading articles about like how much it costs to do this or that, you know, take it all with a grain of salt. Some of you also may be really upset that you have to ask your mother for money, or you have to ask your parents for money, or that your wife or your girlfriend or, you know, someone else in your life is supporting you. You may be feeling undermined by that. But let's get into your whole spread and see what else is coming up. All right, Pisces. Just as a quick reminder, I am in the process of moving, so my private reading schedule is a little bit amended. But if you go to my website, everything's in the description box. If you join my mailing list, I am going to run a special that will only go out to my mailing list plus Twitter and Instagram. So you want to be included there if you want to be part of the sale. And as always, if you're interested in the mid-month or love readings, all that stuff's in the description box as well. Now, with that being said, being that we are in Scorpio season, I decided to pull cards from the Oracles of the Mermaid deck because it's my go-to deck for revealing the dark feminine. And your overall energy that you're clearing from the dark feminine is the magic of the Kohelin Druith. I think that's how you say it. Caution, secrecy, and wary. Now, the colors on this card give me a very Virgo vibe, and it is the number 9, right? So the mermaid here is whispering, and we see a lot of blooming flowers behind her. So I feel there's something here this month that you're having to uncover around the things that you keep hidden from other people. It's not necessarily why you keep them hidden, but what you're afraid to reveal. And I say that because on the bottom of the deck is water flight, heaviness lift, burden or cast away, weightlessness, right? So there's this idea that sometimes we carry secrets out of fear of what would happen if we let them hit the air, but then we are very burdened, right, by them. And in order to live a more weightless life, a more free life, and just feel overall less pressure. I feel like that's a big thing about feeling less pressure. You need to approach yourself, okay? And there's a lot of cups cards here. So the way that you process emotions in mom is not always the word, okay? Because she's like hushing, like in this card. And I feel that there's this fear of what will happen if people know, right? But if you're not invested in people's opinion of you, people's just view of you overall, which, you know, in a lot of ways we all are. We all care what people think to an extent, right? We kind of can't help it. We've been socialized to care about what other people think. But when we do, we tend to suppress portions of ourselves because we don't want to be judged, right? And there's something that I feel like you've been wanting to express, but you're just afraid of expressing. And the overall energy for you this month is the King of Swords. So there is a big, big message this month about kind of getting things off your chest, not because people deserve to know or because you need to reveal like the most intimate workings of yourself, because the King of Swords is not like that. But the King of Swords also is going to clear the mental clutter out of his mind so that he can think clearly, because there's a need to be logical about things. There's a need to be rational about things, because there's something that's been weighing on you that you need to execute, and you need to finalize, and you need to just lay down. Okay, there may be something that you need to, quote, lay down the law with, that you've just been keeping to yourself because you may have been taught as a child that it's better to keep things to yourself so that you don't have to hear it from people, like hear their mouth or get into an altercation. Maybe you've never seen people discuss things in a manner without getting heated, without getting to yelling. Okay, so you may not know how to express yourself without an argument ensuing, or that's your fear at least, right? But the King of Swords is saying that there's a need to be decisive about the way that you approach matters. And I feel like what's happening here, or what's transpiring this month, though it is very much emotional or emotionally tied for you, you need to be kind of cut and dry. And Scorpio energy is very black and white. Scorpio does not like gray. Pisces loves gray. Pisces loves things being in shades of gray. So I feel like you need to take a page out of your sister Pisces book, sister Scorpio's book, and kind of make things black and white this month. What you're being asked to release, we have the King of Wands with the rune fertility, and we have the Ten of Cups. So when it comes to your family, or just overall emotional satisfaction, right? Feeling very full, feeling like your cup runneth over and you're surrounded by people whose cups also runneth over. I feel like you thought to some extent you were in control of that. And technically we are, right? We are in control of being happy, but we're in control of being happy in a Nine of Cups way. Ten of Cups always involves other people. So there may be people that you care about in your life right now that just aren't very happy. There's things going on in their own personal life that's just, independent of you, that's just bogging them down. Or maybe you want to participate in this Ten of Cups energy with everyone else in your life that's super happy, but you just have things going on for yourself personally that kind of feels limiting, right? And with the King of Wands here, I feel like you've been trying to force this Ten of Cups energy. Like, there's been something here that's been making you unhappy, that's been making you sad, that's been making you feel kind of heavy and burdened emotionally. But you're like, I should be happy. I have this, and this. I should be happy, and trying to force it. Because the King of Wands can be a very assertive energy, a very overly confident energy. And with fertility here, I feel like it's like the idea that like, oh, I have the opportunity. I can do it. I can make it happen. But we can't make the Ten of Cups happen. We can't force it. If we're not there, we're not there. It's not the Ten of Wands. It's not the Ten of Pentacles. It's something that has to happen organically. Emotional evolution has to happen organically. So if you've been really trying to like force yourself to be happy, or force a family dynamic to work, or force a relationship to heal itself, or for things to get back to normal, I feel like you're going to kind of hit the wall on that this month. The Spirit is saying, it's not that it'll never get back on track, and it's not that you'll never get back to feeling really cohesive with the people that you love and people that you care about, but you can't put your energy towards that right now because you do have a lot of energy, but I feel like it's a little bit getting wasted on putting it all into your emotional life. I feel like there's other things that need to be talked about. If you're also just trying to assert your will, and like plant all these seeds and make other people happy, I feel like that's taking away from your power and ability to make decisions, because it's like you may also be burying your needs or burying what you need to focus on in other people. Okay? The door that's not open for you that was once closed, we have the Ace of Cups with the Eight of Swords, and on the Eight of Swords we have safety. So being that you're being asked to release the Ten of Cups and you're opening the door to the Ace, I feel like some type of either close relationship, like committed relationship, or family-based unit relationship, are just overall having like the full picture, right? The full picture in your life. There's some facet of it that has died and needs to be reborn, right? And it's not like it's died and it's been lost. It's just trying to take on a new form. And I feel like you didn't want it to take on a new form because you were afraid that if it took on a new form, it would mean like you're physically going to lose those people, or lose that feeling, or lose the cohesiveness that you've been so wanting. The Ace of Cups with the Eight of Swords combined with safety is saying that it's safe for you to rejuvenate yourself and forgive whatever has transpired that has been really heavy. Because I feel like this has been heavy. I feel like this King of Wands energy has been very unpleasant, okay? I don't think it's necessarily you that's been the King of Wands. It could be somebody else too that just wanted to come in and like change everything. Because with fertility being on the King of Wands energy, that can be just a lot of ego as well. And it's like trying to pretend like everything is perfect when it's not. When in reality, there needs to be healing, Ace of Cups. When there needs to be reconciliation, when there needs to be a little bit repair. And I feel like you've been afraid to pour your love energy back into yourself because you thought this 10 of Cups situation would take a hit. When in reality, it's the only thing that's going to bring you back into the space where you feel safe. Because I don't think that you feel safe tending to your own emotional body or tending to your own mental body. And it's kind of been like, you've kind of been like locked out of your own house type of energy. Okay? Like you are a prisoner in your own mind because you've been trying to serve everybody else. And that's why it's so important for you to embody the King of Cups this month and kind of get that riffraff out of your head and come back into a renewal space. The Ace of Cups is also saying that this is an invitation to get back into a more intimate space with yourself, especially if you're trying to fix other things. The key to fixing the outside situation is by healing yourself and getting more back into an intimate space with yourself. It is safe. And there's this feeling here of walking on eggshells as well. And that's because of a lack of communication or explaining to people that you love or explaining to people that you care about what exactly has been going on in your head. Okay? Your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your headspace, we have the Four of Cups with the rune Friendship. In your heart, the Eight of Cups. And in your foundation, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So, at the root of everything, I feel like you're just wanting to make real progress and feel capable again. Because something has taken a hit where manifestation and physical, tangible results has been very limited, I think, for a while. Okay? How long, it's different for everybody. I just feel like there's been a cap on what you can make physically possible for yourself. And I think it's just because you've been lying to yourself about how you really feel. Okay? And when we're not honest with ourselves about what's really going on in our internal landscape, it's extremely difficult to tap into our power. Okay? Because the Queen of Pentacles is very, very, very capable. Okay? She knows what she can do, and she's not afraid to do it. She also, with the yellow background, is focused on her solar plexus, meaning that she has to have a healthy balance between what she puts towards her own efforts and what she does for other people. And I feel like when you start to strike that balance more effectively, you will be able to achieve a lot more. Okay? Some of you have been, again, putting a lot of energy into your friends. Or you're not feeling heard by your friends, and you're not really sure what to do with the changes that are making. Some of you are maybe going into a job or wanting to go into a stage in your life where you feel like you'd have to relate to your friends differently, or you're automatically going to relate to your friends differently. Maybe your friends are big partiers, or you're a partier and your friends are getting married and your friends are having kids and you're not there yet. You know, like there's some kind of deviation that's occurring. Because the Four of Cups is saying there's things that are wanting to change, but I don't want them to change. I want them to stay the same. And the Four of Cups doesn't usually talk about nostalgia, but I feel like it's like the stage right before you get nostalgic. It's like instead of just allowing things to happen the way they are, there's a desire to like pump the brakes because the uncertainty of what may transpire if you allow is scarier than just allowing, right? So Spirit is saying open up to, again, that cup, that ace, right? We have it right here, that Ace of Cups. Because the only guarantee in life is change. And Spirit grants our miracles and grants our prayers through transition and through alterations and through change. Because if you don't love every single facet of the life that you live right now, and I don't mean that you're ungrateful, but if you don't love and want to revel in every single finite detail of your life right now, there's no reason to not open up your mind to the possibility of other. Okay? especially if you've been bored in the way that you relate to other people. I feel like, your connections may have gotten lackluster. Your social life may have gotten very lackluster. You may feel like you can't even be honest with your friends because you don't know how to communicate with them, or they have so many great things going on that you don't want to be a Debbie Downer. It can be that as well. But with the Eight of Cups in your heart space, I feel like there's just a lot of old energy that you're allowing to linger in your heart, especially I feel like with what you were shown as a kid in your home. Whatever home life you had as a child is very much why I think you feel mum is the word with your emotions. Okay? I definitely feel like some of you are just afraid to argue. You're like, okay, telling the truth means that someone's going to be upset, and I'd rather not upset anybody, so I'm just going to keep this to myself. So the Eight of Cups is saying that, are you willing to evolve, right? Are you willing to take a more mature approach to the way that you feel and the way that you express what you feel? Because that's the block right now to your ability to create and your ability to have more. And there's a lot of unprocessed emotions. There's a lot of emotional resistance that you're afraid to own up to on a verbal level. Okay? And the King of Swords also is kind of detached. So I feel like, not that your emotions aren't yours and not that they're not real, they very much are, but I feel like they're such a big part of your story right now. Like you may be like still upset about something that happened several months ago, like maybe even 8 months ago. And when people are trying to like get to the root of what is wrong with you or why you're sad or whatever, you bring it up again. And it's not that it's an excuse because it's valid, but there's a need to separate your emotional experiences from what you have the ability to do in the immediate now about how you feel. Okay, so you can have something be your emotional truth and not identify it to the point that you feel victimized by it. Okay? Spirit's advice for you is the Nine of Cups with the rune Journey and the Eight of Wands with the rune Disruption. So this is the Eight of Wands with Disruption is a really interesting advice card. And I feel that this is saying any disruption you experience in momentum, or if any block in communication that you've had, whether it be from jobs, from loved ones, from anyone, if there's any conversation that's really difficult for you to have, or there's mixed signals, or the momentum has just stopped, okay, it's because in some way or another, like, it's not in alignment with your truth, Nine of Cups and Journey, okay, or you're afraid to say what you really want, okay, Nine of Cups. Because Spirit wants you to live a life, and these are both nines, right? There's something that you're hiding about what would really make you happy. So let's say you've been trying to get this certain type of job for quite some time, and you're just not hearing back. You're not hearing back, or you're not getting past like 1 or 2 interviews, you're not getting hired, whatever. Deep down, do you even really want that job? Or do you just want the money that comes with that job? Or do you just want the security that comes with that kind of job? Or do you just want the benefits that come with that kind of job? Because our life purpose is to feel heart-centered and to live a heart-centered life and to live a journey, right? To go on a spiritual journey that brings us emotional satisfaction. So anywhere you're seeing brake lights, there's a reason for it. And in that pause, ask yourself, are you being 100% honest in that scenario? Okay? Your most likely outcome moving into December, we have the Wheel of Fortune with both the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. And on these cards, we have the rune Wisdom. So I feel that there's some type of disappointment and just overall unsettled emotional energy that you still need to learn from in order to gain traction, okay? Because the Wheel of Fortune is saying change is here for you, and things can shift, and they don't have to be stuck anymore because you've been stuck for quite some time. But one, progress is going to be slow, and you can't slow progress is not no progress. So don't turn your nose up at at things not moving at a pace that you feel is necessary. But with wisdom here, it's saying that you're moving so slow because you need to learn from the pain that you experienced. And the Knight of Pentacles wants to, right? He wants to plan, and he wants to have a future that is very much solidified and thought out, right? And in order to apply that level of wisdom, one, we have to acknowledge what this Three of Swords is, right? These looming fears. I feel like they're looming fears, and they're things that you feel are inevitable, or that you're just going to have to carry them around forever, or that you're going to have to plan your life around your pain, right? But in reality, you can learn from your pain, and you can adjust accordingly, right? You can extracting the lesson, extracting what we were told, right? Or what brought us disappointment, and how we can not avoid it in the future, but what we learned from it and apply that lesson, right? So the Wheel of Fortune is saying that things will change when we're willing to move forward despite our pain. Not because all of a sudden it doesn't exist anymore or whatever, but because we understand that there was a lesson to learn in it. Okay, Spirit, further clarify this Three of Swords and the most likely outcome for Pisces moving into December. Yeah, Page of Wands with the Nine of Swords. Whatever job offer or just passion project that can't really get off the ground, like you get excited about it, but there's something that you're just so anxious about as well. That's what this is about. You know, there's just a lot of fear, I think, around things changing and about where your life is headed. Yeah, Ace of Cups and the Eight of Wands, though, is saying that the key to creating shifts, especially in the way that you lead your life, live your life, or your job-oriented future, your career, the fast pass, if you will, is through, one, forgiving yourself for whatever didn't go right before. Okay? Whatever red flag you ignored, whatever you've been suppressing, right? To be a stable provider, because there's some type of mask you're also wearing towards yourself, not really other people. Because I feel like the people around you can see through it. Yeah, they can see through it, and that's probably why you're arguing. They're like, "Hey, Pisces, I love you, and I know something is wrong. I know you're unhappy." And you're like, "No, I'm happy. I'm doing my own thing." Could be another water sign that's like, "Hey, I see you." You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to own, your pain, because that's what allows it to transform. And I'll be interested to see how this shifts going into the mid-month reading. If you're interested in that, that's in the description box below. As always, I love y'all, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.